There may be hidden dangers lurking in your home. Lead poisoning is a serious health problem, especially in young children. It can interfere with growth, lower IQ scores, and in extreme cases, it can cause permanent brain damage or even death. Our Julie Iriondo joins us now live in our 24-hour newsroom with more on this. Julie, I guess there's a lot of danger with lead that people just aren't really aware of.
That's absolutely true, Veronica. You know, when most people think about lead dangers, they usually think about older homes in the inner city built way before lead-based paint was banned in Savannah. But it can be a problem in new homes, too. There are lots of other ways you can contract lead poisoning. Children under 6 run the highest risk of lead poisoning and can become exposed simply by coming into contact with someone who has lead on their clothes or skin. Many brands of vinyl blinds can also pose problems.
Just because your home may be in perfect shape, it may be relatively new, there are lots of exterior problems that could become interior problems. And really, the only way to know if your child has a lead problem is to have them tested.
Experts recommend children under the age of 6 be tested on an annual basis. And Veronica, if you'd like more information about lead screenings or ways to prevent it, you can contact the Chatham County Health Department. You can pick up brochures like this at the Health Department. They also have plenty of information to distribute. And if you're also curious about whether your vinyl blinds or any other item in your house has lead, you can also pick up one of these little home lead test kits, which are very useful. But it is important definitely to get your child tested, because that's when you're going to find out if your child has been exposed to lead poisoning.
Julie, doesn't the city of Savannah have some kind of program where they can help out with getting rid of lead as far as the paint is concerned?
Absolutely, Veronica. In fact, this year, thanks to a $3 million federal grant, Chatham County Health Department and the city of Savannah just started a program to rid about 500 homes of lead-based paint hazards, mainly in the inner city where most of the problems are. But it is important, as I just mentioned, that there are other hidden dangers lurking in new homes too, and that's why it's so important to get your kids tested.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Well, stay with us. Just ahead on The News at 5, well, will it rain on
young, old, stern, soft, and whatever we are, we certainly owe to them. Just ahead is WTOC Salutes Mom. We'll meet Irk's mom, a working mom, a stay-at-home mom, a mom who can cook, and of course, the best mom of all. All just ahead is WTOC Salutes Mom. Good evening and happy Mother's Day. I'm Julie Iriondo. More than 46 countries honor Mother's Day. Traditionally, we showered Mom with sentimental cards, potted plants, breakfast in bed, and an entire day without chores. But this year, Mom seems to be getting more than that. We took to the streets to find out just what Mom might be getting, and to Gadsden Elementary to find out what students would get their mom if they could get their mom anything in the world.
In one of the little shops around here, I found this neatest little crochet thing. I just want my family to be very happy.
I'm going to buy a new pool table.
That's what I'd like, is a new pool table. But I'll take a bracelet.
A card and probably a nice outfit or something.
A big wet kiss. I would give her a ruby necklace. I'm going to get my mom $1 million. If I could give my mom anything in the world, I'd give her mostly my heart. I live at the Belks. Since she goes there all the time to buy her dresses and blouses for work.
You just going to give her the whole store?
I would give her a diamond ring, a necklace, a box of chocolate, and tell her how much I love her. I would give her a gold necklace and a Cadillac. If I could give my mom anything I would give her a lot of dogs.
A lot of dogs?
Yeah.
What would you do with a lot of dogs?
I don't know. She kind of like some kind of mice that don't bite. Mom would get a teddy bear.
When you think of celebrities, do you ever stop to think how their mothers have influenced their lives? Well, we found out from one of our own homegrown famous folks just how important a mama is.
It is said that behind every great man, there's a great woman. In the case of football great Irk Russell, that great woman who inspired him from an early age was none other than his mother, Ruby Russell.
My mother always encouraged me to, well, she encouraged me to do right. If you want to put it in a nutshell, I think that was the thing that she stressed more than anything else. Enjoy yourself, have fun, but do right. And every time I leave her to this day, her parting remark is, behave yourself. Can you imagine that?
Now, Mama Russell gets the chance to tell her son to behave himself just about every day. You see, when it comes to his mama, Big Bad Irk isn't so bad.
Well, my mother is one of the all-time great mamas. She's 93 now. She lives in Statesboro. I get to see her almost every day. And I guess this will be her 71st Mother's Day.
Now, Irk and his mama remember many of those special Mother's Days when Irk was just a kid growing up in Alabama. Though that special Sunday in May in the Russell house was always a celebration of the woman of the house, Irk remembers it was that same woman who made everything.
When I was growing up in Birmingham, Alabama, we would always wear a red rose if our mother was living and a white one if she was not. But our typical Mother's Day would be for Mama to get up and kind of pre-cook Sunday dinner. We'd go to church, and fortunately I could wear that red rose. And then we'd come home to a great Sunday lunch of fried chicken, mashed potatoes, some good hot biscuits, and everything that goes with them. A good old Southern lunch.
Right.
And on Mother's Day, you did all the work.
What work?
Cooking lunch, doing everything.
Right. That's right.
But it took more than fried chicken and mashed potatoes to make Irk Russell into the outstanding leader he is. Through the years, he's accomplished more than most men dream of, becoming an inspiration to those around him. So we asked Mama Russell, what did she do to make Irk so special?
I am wondering about that. I know that his byword in coaching is do right. And when I see what he has done and when I see what my wonderful grandsons have done, somebody must have done right.
That somebody, says Irk, is his mama.
The thing I know and remember most about my mother is that she was always there for me. And I suppose that's what mamas do.
So on this Mother's Day, folks everywhere are wishing the best for their mothers. And in Statesboro, there's one man with a very special wish for his.
Happy Mother's Day. I think this will be number 70 or number 71 for you, and I hope it's the best one you ever had.
Have you ever wondered how Mother's Day began? Most sources trace this tradition back to the 1600s when England celebrated a day called Mothering Sunday, celebrated on the fourth Sunday of Lent. A special cake called the mothering cake was often included in the celebration. Dr. Lou Tarsitano has an idea why the mothering cake was such a sweet idea.
So instead of giving gifts to Mother on Mother's Day, it started out with people getting gifts from their mother. And she'd give them a little thing called a mothering cake or a simnel cake. And since it was the only sweet they could eat during the entire time of Lent, it was a pretty big deal. If you've ever gone through a bona fide fasting Lent, those 40 days start to stretch on. So this little inducement was, go see your mother, and when you go, you got a piece of cake.
It is often said that food is love, and if that's the case, there is one woman in Savannah who is adored by thousands of people all over the country. Her name is Mrs. Wilkes, and she definitely captures the flavor of Savannah.
The sign outside marks an important local landmark. It's not one of Savannah's historic squares. It's not even on the historic registry. But take a peek inside and you'll see why it is a historic taste of Savannah.
It reminds me of my mother's cooking.
For 40 years, Mrs. Wilkes has opened her heart and her kitchen to locals and travelers alike, whether they come from all over.
Northwest of Seattle.
We're from San Antonio, Texas.
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
I'm from Omaha, Nebraska.
And I'm from Galveston, Texas.
Or from across town.
Savannah.
They all come in search of good old down-home cooking. and that's just what they get.
Yeah, I wanted some good southern fried chicken, and I got it. It was wonderful.
It all started out as a boarding house where meals were served to those living under its roof. But it wasn't long before word got out about the mouth-watering fare that emerged daily from Mrs. Wilkes' kitchen.
It was just like one big family, and everybody had breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. And then she started letting the boarders bring friends and neighbors. And as she's always said, one would tell another. And that's how her business started.
It's still like one big family at Mrs. Wilkes. You may not know the person you're sitting next to at the table, but rest assured, you'll have something in common with everyone at the table, a love of the food and the atmosphere.
At the table, you can hear people saying time after time, this is just like going to my grandmother's house. I haven't eaten like this since I was at my grandmother's. Or, I hate to say this, but it's even better than my grandmother's.
And overseeing it all is the woman who says there's one key ingredient to everything prepared under her watchful eye.
A lot of love.
So the food is good, most would say great, and those who wait to get a taste of it are never disappointed. But could there be something else that draws people through the door, especially this time of year?
I think most people go home, just visit with their grandparents on Mother's Day and that sort of thing. And whenever they come here, they feel like they're going back home.
She is, in a very special way, a friend, grandmother, and mother to everyone she meets. And that, says Mrs. Wilkes, is music to her ears.
Mother is the sweetest name on earth besides Christ.
Coming up next, a look at how one mother inspired a leader.
Who cooks the best barbecue?
In their developmental stage, and I want to be able to teach them their values instead of someone else. And I want to experience their first things that they do without someone else being the one to tell me that. As for Teddy, I think she's benefited because she doesn't have to go to any after-school programs. She just comes home, and it gives her time to relax before doing her homework, and she gets to play outside. And because if she was coming home after I got out of a job, she wouldn't have daylight to be able to play. And she gets to play and relax. And as for Timmy, I believe that he learns more from me because we have that one-on-one attention. And I believe it's benefited him because he's a very bright child. He's 2 years old, and he probably can do some things that some 5-year-olds can't do. He can say all his ABCs. He can count to about 15, and he can sing a lot of songs, and he pretty much comes up with some silly sayings and stuff, and he's just real intelligent.
While Kimberly believes her role of full-time mother is beneficial to her children, she admits it's not easy.
Billy is a real hard-working man. He works many hours, and I think he does that to earn enough money so that I can stay home. But it's hard sometimes because he doesn't have time to spend with us like he wants to. It is a sacrifice because I go through it sometimes. I'd like to have a nicer car or a nicer home and all, but I think that it's worth it, and one day I'll know it's worth it because I have a long time to live and be able to work after my kids are grown.
Kimberly plans to take on a part-time job when her youngest, Timmy, starts kindergarten, but thinks it's important to be at home when her children return from school, just as her mother was.
My mom stayed home with me and my brothers until we went off to school, and then she went back to college to get her nursing degree. But she was always at home, though, when we got home, so we never had to come home by ourselves. I think that had a tremendous impact on my decision because I knew that I appreciated that, and I know that my kids will, too.
Call it ironic or what you will that Kimberly plans to portray the same role that her mother played in her life. But moms, never underestimate the impact you'll have on your children.
I just like to say that my mom, if there's a perfect role model for a mom, it would be my mother, and that I love her very much.
Happy Mother's Day, I love you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Many mothers prefer to play the traditional stay-at-home role of mom, but many moms today are working mothers, going beyond their roles as housekeeper, mother, homemaker, and wife. They've also taken on the role of income provider. Terry Wilson, mother of 2-year-old Samantha, has managed to balance the roles of mother, homemaker, wife, and worker.
Terry Wilson is proud to be a working mother. As a registered nurse at Effingham and Candler hospitals, to Terry, work provides mental and social stimulation outside of the home.
My husband and I have been married 15 years this year. Samantha didn't come along until our 12th anniversary, so of course I worked. I didn't work at first because I had to work because I wanted to. Mommy didn't work. That was the norm then.
Terry believes that daycare provides Samantha with the skills and confidence to adapt to change, a tool every child will need. She and her husband take turns picking her up from daycare.
And I drop her off and I give her lots of sugars, and from then I'll come on to work, and then usually he gets off about 5:30 and he can pick her up about 6 o'clock.
Flexible scheduling makes Terry's multiple roles a lot easier.
Kind of schedule things as we need them here and as everybody needs them off for the children, that type thing. What we like to do is if this mom has a ball game, or this mom's got a special function, or somebody has something on, we just kind of help each other out and kind of schedule around those things.
Just like Kimberly, Terry is following the same footsteps as her mother.
My mom, I grew up on a dairy farm. My mom, she actually milked the cows. She didn't actually leave the home, but she wasn't in the house when we got out to go to school. She was at the barn. Of course, she was right there if we needed her. I consider her a career woman, absolutely. I mean, there was no doubt about that she worked. Her working, you know, instilled those values upon me to work.
You ready to go bye-bye? You ready to go bye-bye? Tell them bye-bye.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Hope everybody enjoys their day, and that just take it for what it means to you and enjoy it that way. Whether it be you will be at work, or which I will be, or with your mother, which will be good too, which will be great.
If thousands of phone calls are made every Mother's Day, can you imagine how many flowers are sent? Susan Brown at Colony Bay Florist knows, and how. Fresh flowers, and more fresh flowers can be found in just about every nook and cranny of the Colony Bay Florist around Mother's Day.
Colony Bay Florist, this is Susan. May I help you?
As you can imagine, Mother's Day is one of the craziest times of year in the floral industry. And no one knows that better than Susan Brown.
Well, it's just so busy, and we're so excited because flowers and mothers just get together, and that keeps us in business.
It gives everybody a good feeling.
Flowers have always been a popular Mother's Day gift. Brown believes part of the popularity of giving flowers stems from the special connection between flowers and mothers.
I think that the floral industry has a long tradition with this holiday because it's such a great time to be able to surprise Mom with something that's special. Flowers are so special, moms are special, so I suppose the tradition stands.
Meanwhile, across town at Olshig & Son Wholesale Flowers and Plants,
it's all going, Mr. Cook.
You bet it's all going. Lots and lots of flowers are going to lots and lots of florists like Colony Bay.
Well, the 2 weeks of shipping are the 2 weeks before the holidays, so those are 2 very busy weeks. We often double our shipping number of routes.
Using only a limited number of staff, the flower and plant wholesaler tries to get out the goods as quickly as possible.
Well, what we do is we all work twice as hard during the holidays. We could use more people, but we don't hire more. We just all move a little bit faster.
And what's the hottest ticket when it comes to Mother's Day flowers?
As far as a single crop, we probably sell more hydrangeas than anything else.
Coming up next, remember this woman? She's a mom now. Her story's just ahead.
Be it the high quality of life or the warm-hearted people, West Chatham is a
great job like that. Good evening.
Angela Gale has traded a life of glamour and celebrity for a pot-bellied pig named Sir Francis Bacon, and a home in Carolina that she shares with husband Gordon and daughter Allison.
Oh, Kissy, Bug, Mother's Day. She's a grandmother herself.
Okay.
Bug.
Angela's choice of a quiet country lifestyle was influenced by her mom.
I was the only child of Allie and Don Sigmund, and it was small-town atmosphere, neighborhoods, kids sitting on the porch every night.
And by a turning point that goes back 11 and a half years.
When I became a mother, I knew that I couldn't be married to television, that my child had to come first. I had always come first in my mother's life.
Allison Gale is named for Angela's mom, Allie, who passed away in 1977, but who continues to influence her child and her grandchild.
And I know that she sent my little girl to me.
There are all kinds of special mothers who take on all kinds of roles. Though Juliet Gordon-Lowe, founder of the Girl Scouts of America, didn't have any children of her own, she started a tradition of guiding young girls through life. It's her tradition Sherry Salim continues today.
Be my friend, make new friends, and keep me up.
Every 2 weeks, Sherry Salim, wife, mother, career woman, steps out of her daily routine and into a tradition established 85 years ago. It's a leadership role she doesn't take lightly because she knows it's having an effect on all who are involved.
My goal is just to make a difference in the lives of these girls some way, and perhaps when I'm old and gray, they will remember me for being their troop leader and possibly a second mom.
These girls aren't just any girls. They're all a part of the Girl Scouts. Though Salim has a daughter, Taqwa, who is also a member of her troop, come every other Friday, her family grows by leaps and bounds.
Since I have 31 girls, it's like having 30 additional daughters.
And how do all of her daughters feel about her?
Someone who tries their very best. She's very nice, considerate.
She acts like our mother.
The feeling, says Salim, is mutual.
And they know they can come to me, I'll be there for them, and I love them very much.
Coming up next, what you've been waiting for, the WTOC Mother of the Year.
Coastal Utilities invites you to explore Liberty County.
As we salute all mothers on this special day, we'd like to introduce you to one extraordinary mother, the WTOC Mother of the Year. We're standing here at the home of Rebecca Hicks with some great news to share with her. So come along with me and we're going to go ahead and knock on the door. Or in this case, ring the bell. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
You're WTOC's Mother of the Year.
Oh, thank you.
These are some flowers from Colony Bay Florist in Garden City. Just a little bit of the surprises we have in store for you. Rebecca Hicks was the one who nominated 68-year-old Betty Sullivan. She says her mother always put the needs of her 16 children first, and that's why she deserved the top honor. How does it feel to think that your daughter thinks so highly of you?
I love her. I love her to death. Well, you deserve it. Thank you.
Well, your letter that you sent us really touched everybody at WTOC. You talked about some of the sacrifices your mother made for you over the years.
Yeah, she's still doing it.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
What, about her still doing it? Right to this day, if she thinks one of her kids, even though all of them's married, is doing without something, she will do without to give to them. Right to this day. She's always been that way.
Yes, Betty's kids are everything to her. And these days, that includes 24 grandchildren and 7 great-great-grandchildren. Well, our congratulations to you on being named WTOC's Mother of the Year. And also, you've won a 2-night stay at the Defusky Island Club and Resort. So our best wishes to you on this Mother's Day. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's our Mom of the Year. We know you have your Mom of the Year. To all of you, happy Mother's Day.
WTOC's Mother's Day Special is brought to you by Coastal Utilities and by Colony Bay Florist.